Dark side of Vietnam. Imagine living in a country where some men grow their pinky fingernail unusually long, not for fashion, but for a practical use like ear cleaning. Country where you can even choose your phone number based on your lucky numbers. A blend of superstition and personal choice. And then there are the large smoking pipes, sometimes longer than your arm, that are casually used in daily life. This is the dark side of Vietnam, where everyday habits can be both surprising and unique. Let's get into the video and cover the hidden side of Vietnam. 1. Vietnam. Just hearing the name can bring to mind the harsh memories of war. A lot of people visit the country to see the traces left behind by the Vietnam War, but before that, Vietnam had a long fight to break free from colonialism. From the mid-1800s, it was a French colony, and like many places at the time, it struggled with the spread of communism. This led to yet another war in 1954, which added another chapter to its already difficult history. But that was only the beginning. What followed became known as the Vietnam War, or as the Vietnamese call it, the American War. This conflict saw the United States deeply involved in Vietnam until 1975. For the US, it became a war they couldn't win, losing nearly 60,000 soldiers. To this day, it remains a national wound in America's history. However, the losses on the US side pale in comparison to what Vietnam endured. Millions of soldiers and civilians lost their lives, and the land itself suffered immense damage. Chemical warfare, particularly with the use of the deadly defoliant Agent Orange, left Vietnam's landscape burned and poisoned, its impact lasting long after the war ended. 2. Agent Orange was a powerful mixture of herbicides used by US forces during the Vietnam War between 1962 and 1971. They sprayed it over huge areas of forest to make it harder for the Viet Cong and North Vietnamese soldiers to hide and to destroy crops that could feed them. In total, about 50 million litres of this chemical mixture were sprayed across the country, and it contained a dangerous substance called dioxin. The impact on the Vietnamese people was horrific. Many believe that exposure to Agent Orange caused a surge in miscarriages, skin diseases, cancers, and terrible birth defects. Children born after the war often suffered from serious physical deformities, a heartbreaking reminder of what the country went through. Even today, the effects of Agent Orange can still be seen in some parts of Vietnam. 3. Bamboo pipe smoking is quite common in Vietnam, where over 15 million people smoke tobacco, and more than 33 million non-smokers are often exposed to second-hand smoke. This practice is deeply woven into the culture, especially among men, who greet each other by sharing cigarettes in a show of companionship. One traditional way of smoking is through a bamboo pipe called thuoc lao, or duoc khai. After a meal, it's not unusual for friends to gather and pass this pipe around, believing it helps with digestion. Thuoc lao is made from the leaves of the Nicotiana rustica plant, and when you take a puff, it delivers a powerful hit of nicotine that can leave even the most seasoned smokers feeling lightheaded and with a racing heart. According to Vietnam's Health Education and Communication Center, smoking is a significant health issue, with around 40,000 people dying each year from the effects of first or second-hand smoke. If no action is taken to address this problem, it's estimated that by 2030, 10% of the Vietnamese population could lose their lives due to smoking-related illnesses. 4. Have you ever fallen victim to Vietnamese love fraud? Recently, there has been a rise in online scams, especially love traps aimed at single women and mothers, preying on their loneliness and, in some cases, their desire for companionship. On August 17th, police in Ninh Binh province arrested a man using the Facebook name Chang Ko, which translates to Mr. Fool, for allegedly befriending single women in Hanoi and the provinces of Nam Dinh and Hai Duong. He scammed them out of hundreds of millions of dongs, with VND 100 million equating to about $4,246. Just a few days prior, police in Binh Phuoc province reported a similar case involving an Stieng ethnic woman who was also deceived. In both instances, the scammers approached these women on social media, posing as successful businessmen to win their trust before exploiting them. 5. Have you ever noticed that many men in Vietnam sport an unusually long pinky fingernail? It might seem strange at first, but this nail serves a practical purpose: self-ear cleaning. In Vietnam, ear hygiene is taken quite seriously, and people often use a variety of tools for the task. Along with their long pinky nails, you'll see Vietnamese using little spoons, chopsticks, tweezers, or even tissue-wrapped toothpicks to scoop out earwax and gently scratch the skin inside their ears. While it might seem a bit alarming to outsiders, many Vietnamese people find this practice enjoyable and effective. It's a convenient way to maintain ear hygiene that can be done anytime and anywhere. 6. Crossing the street in Vietnam can be quite frightening. Even at pedestrian crossings, vehicles rarely stop, forcing pedestrians to navigate through moving traffic. This creates an unsettling situation, as it places the responsibility on pedestrians to maintain a steady pace, while drivers often ignore them. If a driver does stop, it can confuse others, leading to dangerous situations. It's frustrating that the expectation is for people to adapt to such chaotic road conditions, prioritizing traffic flow over pedestrian safety. 7. In Vietnamese culture, lucky numbers really matter. Numbers like 1, 6, 8, and 9 are seen as good, while 4 and 13 are considered unlucky. People often believe that having a lucky combination in their phone numbers can bring them fortune. Many choose numbers based on their birthdays, or go for pretty sequences, especially triple or quadruple 8s and 9s. It's crazy. Some wealthy folks pay huge sums for these numbers. For example, one number, 989999999, sold for an unbelievable USD 664,000. But honestly, it can be frustrating trying to keep track of all those sequences. 8. It's no surprise that pickpocketing tops the list of scams in Vietnam. You'll find these thieves in bustling cities like Ho Chi Minh City, Hanoi, and Nha Trang, often working alone or in groups. They typically operate in crowded areas. Think main streets, public transportation, markets, and nightclubs, especially during festivals or major events when the crowds are at their largest. Their targets are usually anyone with expensive jewelry or valuable items, like cell phones and wallets. The best way to avoid becoming a target is to dress simply and blend in while you're exploring. 9. Tour booking scams are prevalent in Vietnam, where scammers attract victims through ads or fake websites offering unrealistically low prices for trips. Once you register, they often pretend to assist with your itinerary to build trust. However, after you pay, they disappear without a trace. To avoid falling victim to these scams, it's crucial to book your tour packages only with reputable companies. Always do your research and read reviews to ensure a safe and enjoyable travel experience. 10. A growing trend among young adults in Vietnam is the rise of sugar baby relationships, where romantic partnerships are based on financial transactions. Typically, sugar babies are young and attractive individuals who enter such relationships to address their adulthood issues. Interestingly, this trend isn't limited to females. Many young men are also interested in being sugar babies. In fact, about 90.7% of males born after 1995 are open to marrying older women. With the surge of platforms like TikTok, sugar baby culture has gained popularity, making it increasingly common among Vietnamese youth. Vietnam is a beautiful country filled with vibrant nature, and it's hoped that it will improve in the future and move past its darker aspects. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more tips. And as always, feel free to drop any questions or thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you.